There's a question that keeps coming up in conversations about modern dating, and it sounds simple, but the answer is complicated. Why aren't men approaching women anymore? Women notice it. They talk about it with their friends. They post about it online. Where did all the confident men go? Why does no one make a move? Why is everyone just staring at their phones? And men notice something, too. They notice that the rules seem to have changed, but no one told them what the new rules are. They notice that what used to be called confidence is now sometimes called harassment. They notice that the signals they used to rely on have become harder to read or have disappeared entirely. Today, we're going to talk about why there is a growing disconnect between men and women when it comes to dating, attraction, and relationships. And the answer goes deeper than you might think, all the way back to how humans actually evolved to pair up and how radically different that is from what we're trying to do today. This isn't going to be a video about whose fault it is. Both sides have legitimate grievances. Both sides are confused. What we need is an honest look at why the confusion exists in the first place. Let's start with what's happening on the ground. Large numbers of young men, we're talking significant percentages, have essentially stopped approaching women in person. This isn't laziness. It's not that they don't want relationships or aren't attracted to women. Many of them desperately want connection. But they've developed what can only be described as approach paralysis, an intense anxiety around initiating romantic contact with women they don't already know. The anxiety is real. It's not something they're making up. For these men, the idea of walking up to a woman in public and expressing interest produces genuine fear. Fear of rejection, yes, but increasingly fear of something worse. Fear of being seen as creepy. Fear of making her uncomfortable. Fear of being publicly called out or humiliated. Fear that even a respectful approach will be treated as an offense. Now, approach anxiety has always existed to some degree. Men have always felt nervous about putting themselves out there. But something has amplified it in the modern era. Something cultural has shifted that's made the risks feel higher and the rewards feel more uncertain. And here's what many women don't understand. This isn't happening because men have gotten weaker. It's happening because the environment has changed. Men are responding rationally to a new set of incentives when the potential cost of an approach has gone up. Social humiliation, being labeled a creep, possible professional consequences, and the potential reward hasn't increased proportionally. Rational people become more cautious. That's not weakness. That's math. There's a popular idea that men have always approached women cold, walked up to strangers in bars, struck up conversations with women they've never met, pursued romantic interest through sheer boldness and charm. This is mostly a myth. Or more accurately, it's a brief historical anomaly that we've mistaken for the norm. For most of human history, and across most cultures, even today, relationships didn't start with strangers approaching each other. They grew out of existing social structures, family networks, village communities, religious congregations, shared workplaces, neighborhoods where everyone knew everyone. Your future spouse wasn't a stranger you spotted across a crowded room. She was your neighbor's daughter, your cousin's friend, the girl who attended your church, the woman your family had known for years. The cold approach, walking up to a complete stranger with romantic intent, only became common in the 20th century, and really only in certain Western urban environments. It was a product of urbanization where people lived among strangers. It was a product of the sexual revolution, which loosened traditional courtship norms. It was a product of bars, clubs, and social spaces designed specifically for mixing with people you don't know. There are at least three competing scripts about what relationships should be. The first is the traditional script: practical partnerships, clear roles, family and community involvement, stability over passion, commitment as the foundation, with love hopefully growing over time. This script says find someone suitable, build something together, and make it work. The second is the romantic script: soulmates, destiny, the one intense emotional connection. Love conquers all. This script says find the person who makes your heart sing, and everything else will fall into place. The third is the transactional script: relationships as exchanges. What am I getting out of this? If it's not serving me, I leave. Constant evaluation of whether you're getting a good deal. This script says optimize for your own benefit and don't settle for less than you deserve. Most modern people carry elements of all three scripts in their heads, and they clash constantly. You want the security of the traditional approach, but the passion of the romantic approach, but the freedom of the transactional approach. You want commitment and excitement and the option to leave. Men and women often don't realize they re-operating from different scripts or switching between scripts depending on the situation. He thinks they're building something traditional. She's evaluating whether he's her soulmate. She thinks they're in a romantic partnership. He's calculating the transaction. The disconnect isn't personal. It's structural. Here's an uncomfortable truth that underlies all of this. Human beings didn't evolve for modern romantic relationships. Our evolutionary history points towards serial monogamy at best. Pair bonding for a period, often until children are somewhat independent, followed by the potential for new pairings. Some anthropologists argue that mild polygyny, one man with multiple female partners, was the more common ancestral pattern. What we definitely didn't evolve for is the modern ideal: one partner for life who fulfills all our needs while we maintain complete individual freedom and self-actualization. That's a very recent cultural invention, and it fights against millions of years of evolutionary programming. This doesn't mean lifelong monogamy is impossible. Plenty of people achieve it. But it means it's harder than we pretend it is. And the failure rate isn't surprising. It's predictable. Men and women both struggle with this mismatch between what evolution shaped us for and what modern culture tells us we should want. But they struggle in different ways. And those differences create misunderstandings. Now, let's talk about something specific that's broken down: signaling. In the past, women had culturally understood ways of indicating interest. A look held a moment too long, a smile in response to attention, positioning yourself near someone you wanted to talk to you. These signals weren't explicit, but they were readable. They gave men permission to approach. Those signals have become much harder to read, and in some cases, they've disappeared entirely. Part of this is deliberate. Women have been told correctly that they shouldn't have to perform interests they don't feel. They've been told that being hard to get is a strategy. They've been told that enthusiasm can be read as desperation, so they guard their signals more carefully. Part of it is environmental. Women in professional settings have learned to be more guarded because workplace dynamics require it. Women in urban environments have learned to avoid eye contact with strangers because it invites unwanted interaction. The behaviors that keep women safe in some contexts also make them unreadable in romantic contexts. And part of it is the post-meto shift. Men are now hyper-aware that misreading a signal can have serious consequences. An approach that's unwanted isn't just awkward. It might be reported, posted about, or treated as a violation. The margin for error has shrunk dramatically, so men wait for clearer signals. Signals that never come because women have been trained not to give them. And both sides wait. And nothing happens, and everyone wonders why dating is so hard. Now, the irony is brutal. Women want to be approached by men they're interested in. Men want to approach women who are interested in them. Both sides want the same thing. But the signaling mechanism that would connect them has been damaged by cultural forces that neither side fully controls. Some women have started to notice this and are trying to signal more clearly, but they're swimming against a cultural current that tells them that pursuing is desperate. That showing interest is giving away power that men should just know if you're interested. The cultural programming is hard to override.